met you in the I met you in the
Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the podcast. Welcome to Coffee and Conversation. Today, I have a very special guest. I have my own best friend, Anushka. Hi, Nan.
Hi,
She's like the
how are you?
guest that I can get in this podcast. I've been asking her like 3 times, 4 times. We talk every single day, but her answer is always no. I don't know why, but she always says no. So I would like an explanation for that, Anushka.
Well, I started college and I don't have time.
Right. That's not a valid answer though, because even before you started college, I've been asking you, and you're like, no. Okay, so Nish, today we are going to talk about IB and school and not education, but just like the coping matter of going through school and uni and IB. I know that we both did IB for 2 years, and
Mhm.
you just want to introduce yourself a little bit.
Okay, so I'm Anushka and I've lived in Indonesia for 18 years. Well, actually more than that. And I went to BSJ for like my whole life. And so I met Esther in 11th grade, year 12. And we both did IB together and we're friends despite having almost every class like not together. Yeah.
We have like TOK together. Well, I don't know. That's if it's combined class.
Or
So, Nishka, the first juicy question: who's your favorite teacher?
okay, my absolute favorite teacher is my chemistry teacher because she made chemistry very easy and understandable for me. Well, it's still not easy. And also Miss because she always gave me honest feedback on English and I enjoyed English a lot. And I want to do something related to science and English in the future.
So, Anushka, today we want to talk about IB. As we know, the IB curriculum is one of the biggest educational curriculum, and it got canceled this year. So, how do
Yeah.
you feel when you found out that your exams was canceled?
Um, at first I was sad, because I wasted my 2 years to work towards something, and I did a lot of like cheat sheets for myself, and that took really long. Um, but actually, in the end, I was okay with it because no one wants to do exams, right? But when I got my results, like there's some grades that I would want to change and I would want to do the exam again because it wasn't really possible to retest and change the grade. Um, but overall, like even with getting my grade, I'm still fine with it because I got into my university. That's what matters.
That's nice. Talking about uni and your dream uni, would you like to tell everyone which uni you finally decide to go to?
Oh, okay. So I applied to both US and UK, but I decided to go to Imperial College London because it supports my dream to help humans, like help their health. So I'm studying biomed in Imperial right now, and I started this October.
Yeah, I mean, science kid over here. Um, I know that you worked so hard through your academics and just IB, and I was always like the creative type, and you're like the I want to study type. And if,
Not entirely.
as you know, that a lot of people right now they're also still doing IB, and for us that we already did IB before,
Mhm.
do you want to tell them like what your final grade is and how you got there and all the experience? Because let's say if we're in college, Anushka is like cum laude, man. Honestly, she is like the best, always the best in school, and she never gets a bad
Mm.
grade. So share us a little bit of your knowledge in that.
Well, honestly, like in IB, right? It's like you're going against other people, you feel really competitive. And like I didn't ace every subject and neither did I want to. Um but like I did care. If you care about a subject you do, you can get a really high grade. Um so in Imperial it's kind of different because you don't compete with other people. It's all about you and your grade. it's the thing that if you go into a really specialized university, like Imperial is a STEM university, and you go into a field which is very competitive, which is science, then you kind of feel like there's this thing called imposter syndrome, and you kind of feel like you're not supposed to be there. And everyone's feeling like that right now. If you ask anyone in my year, first year, everyone thinks that like, oh, I'm not smart enough for this. But later it's, you just get, you pass university and you get whatever honors you get, and then I don't know, you just go with it because it doesn't matter. You got into the university and you deserve to be there for a reason.
It kind of depends on the person. I think a lot of us tend to work hard and then finally get into uni, and then we're like, oh, I don't think I'm working hard enough. But then sometimes we're like, why are we working hard enough, but we're not, reaching to the
Yeah,
university
because
that
there
we want?
there are still times that I'm like, oh, am I even doing the right degree? Am I
Mm.
in the right university? Like, should have gone to a different one. But I think it's just my first term, so I have to like get into get into the university first. I'm not even in UK right now. So I think when I go there, I'd feel more comfortable.
Yeah, I think it's different also with like the whole corona pandemic thing, right? It's like people are just figuring everything out and adapting to this whole online learning experience, which is honestly speaking tremendously hard. And
Hmm.
yeah, I think it's just a tough time for both students and teachers, educators to get on board, no matter how long this has been. So, Nish, I want to ask you about some of your high school highlights and how you transitioned to uni, obviously. What are some of the high school highlights that you experienced that you were like, hey, like, I'm not only learning education, but also experience all these things that have taught you and shaped you to the person you are today?
Well, my high school highlights are, not only about studying and classes. It's a lot about making friends. In grade 9 and 10, which is year 10 and 11. Um, you don't you focus a lot on IGCSE for no reason, and then you realize that like, studying is not everything. And I feel like I found my best friends, like my closest friends, she's like you and other people, um, in year 12 and year 13. And my best memories are, just sitting in lunchtime or free periods, like supposed to be doing work at free periods, but then we don't. And we play Uno
Yes.
and Monopoly Deal. And it's just the whole experience of like you spending time with friends and like going through things together, going through EE together, TOK, and it wouldn't have been a fun experience if I didn't have my friends with me, because TOK is so boring, as we all know.
Hey,
um,
hey, if Miss
but
Patrick is watching this, she's gonna kill you.
okay, it's boring because you probably have to think a lot, and well, somehow everyone got to that point where they could do the essay and the presentation, and that wasn't the hardest part of TOK. It was all good, but I'm saying that it was like better with friends. And my high school memories are also because my teachers were not the serious type, which I'm grateful for. Them were not the serious type, so they also, like, with their banter and with their jokes and also making the lesson fun, I feel like I also found the subject fun, and I liked most of my teachers, so that was good.
Thank you for that answer. I like how you said, like, during study periods and how we all would like gather in the main hall and eat fries and pretend to work when we're not working and just kind of laugh off the seriousness in class and the unnecessary tension we have in class and how we just laughed it off. I think it's really important. I think the fellowship, that's what you meant, right? Like the fellowship
Yeah,
you had with friends and
yeah.
everybody who's like, because like I feel like IB, we were all like kind of in one system, and then we just had to do what's offered and then kind of laugh it off because like it's not that serious,
Especially in year 13 term 1, because every teacher was scaring you that, oh, this is going to be the hardest term, and it was. but it was better when we had our other fun times like Halloween because that was in that time. And like everybody's birthday party, my birthday, your birthday. It kind of let us theme a bit.
Yeah, I
Mm.
agree. And I think with year 13, term one, if I can add to that, I think the tension during that time period, it was high because I felt like as students, we felt pressure to just having to do more work, or like we didn't understand the balance between like working efficiently and working hard but not that smart, you know what I mean? And then it's like
Yeah,
the teachers are like, yeah, we want you to pass and like we care about you, but it's like this is work. So it's like you just end up hating everybody in school, you know what I mean?
yeah, and they kept asking us to do IAs as well as other schoolwork, which is very hectic, especially for a double science student, because we had to do experiments for both.
Yeah, I'm sure there's a lot of pressure in you. And I know I've always said this to you, and I'm going to say it again on the podcast. Anushka took like a double science and IB. I think both HL, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
because that's what was needed for um, my degree.
and then I mean not everybody. Anushka said that she doesn't know like her talent, so I'm letting her know right now in the podcast that taking two double sciences in HL is not something people can do, and obviously scoring a 40 in your IB is not something that everyone can do. So congratulations on scoring that grade in your IB. I'm so proud of you. And
Yeah.
I want to know how it feels to be in that position where you have to take two HL and then just balance everything out. Like, can you tell us a little bit about that?
Um, well, I think that the when they say that you take HL and SL, you're supposed to give more time in HL. And I feel like you you care about the subject, you really want to do it, and that's why you take it as HL. So although they say that, all teachers say that you should give equal time to HL and SL because they want you to get better at the SL. Honestly, if you care more about the HL, you get better grades in HL, it's better for you. And so like for your SL, you kind of sacrifice the time. But obviously, grades isn't everything. You don't have to aim for 7 in everything. You just have to work towards your goal. So my goal was to get 6 or 7 in every HL, and I got that. But my sacrificed grade was for some of my SLs. But it's fine because if you look at your overall grade and your overall goal, where to go, then it's fine because you just have to get the requirement to get into that university. And obviously for US, it's a bit different. But for US, it's like you just have to get 3 points within, I think, 3 points within your predicted. And so then if you really think about it, if you focus on your HLs, you also care about your subjects, and then school becomes more fun in a way.
Wait, can you tell us like your three SL and your three HL, because I think I forgot your
Okay.
SL HL.
So for my HL, I took bio and chem because I needed that for my degree, and English because I enjoy English and I thought it would be a fun like complementary to my bio and chem. And for my SL, I took math because we have to, and Spanish. But I also took business for social science because I thought it's very important to learn that in the world.
That's nice to know. And I want to know if you have any tips for just students who are entering IB or students who are doing IB right now.
So when you're choosing your IB subjects, you should, for your HLs, like I said, choose the ones that you like, as well as research like if you want to get into this university, what and the major in that university, like what you need to get into that. So that's what you should choose for HLs. And for SL, what I did was I was going to choose psychology instead of business, but I didn't because I thought business would be, more easier and also a little different to science, because if you take psychology and like bio and chem, it gets really, really much into science. and that's like a big workload for you. So you always want to round up and choose things that are more like wider range, but also
Suitable.
easier for you to, yeah, suitable, and also easier for you to um, pass in basically. And then my other advice would be grades isn't everything, and I learned that through IB because you don't why like you're unnecessarily putting yourself towards a 45 when you don't really need it. You just have to set yourself a goal like I want to get 38 or I want to get 40, and then you just work towards that, and you see like what you want to achieve in each subject. Like you want a 7 in bio, you want a 7 in chem. And if you're fine with getting a 5 in math, then so be it. It's fine.
Yeah, I think what you're trying to say is whatever rocks your boat.
Yeah. And it's not about grades in the end. It's also about like the friends you make and other stuff that you do in IB, which is like if you're really lucky, you get to go on ESS trips and theater trips. But I didn't get to go on that.
I miss
But
the ESS trip.
mhm. And the residentials also.
Actually, this is kind of a funny thing because, you know, Halcyon, remember Halcyon? We were talking to him in the previous podcast in season 1. You guys should check it out if you haven't. We talked about how Halcyon said he never
Yeah.
joined any after school activities because he was too busy and focusing all his energy in schoolwork. And then he missed all
Mhm.
the opportunities. And he talked about like the friendship that he shut off because of focusing with work and stuff like that. And I totally understand where he's coming from, to be honest, but I also thought that it was like people in our school actually do that. And it just, the thought of it kind of scares me because it's like you're making friends in high school that, you know, possibly might last. And sometimes you just gotta, like, you have to sacrifice all that because you have to focus on your studies. So
Yeah.
you have to
That
be able
happened
to
a lot.
find, yeah, totally. And I'm not saying that like you have to focus on your education, obviously, but I think the thing that we miss is we were so competitive as a batch that sometimes we also lost sight of some of our friends because maybe they might
Yeah.
not be like as fast as we're learning, or they might not be in the pace we're at. And I don't know why, but back then it was a little bit of an issue there, right? Don't you think? Like with the chemistry of our batch especially, it was an issue, there was an issue there, but I don't think anybody was brave enough to admit that.
Yeah, there was always a competitive issue like, oh, what grade did you get? What grade did you get in every test? And I think that was a lot in year 12 and 13. But I think at the end of year 13 as well, we all kind of focus on us individually. And yeah, in terms of extracurriculars, like I know that I tried to do as many as I could, but there were also people that didn't do anything. Um, so like I used to do choir in year 12, and then I stopped it in after a term of year 13, I think. So that's what I kind of regret because I really liked choir and I've done it since year 3. And this is just the thing about like sacrificing your time. A lot of people, even my best friends, like they would just go to the study room alone at lunch if they had to finish something or study something. And you just have to respect that because they they want to focus on whatever they're doing.
Yeah, I know. And I'm
And
like, I remember coming in school in the morning at like 6:45, 6:30, and I
yeah,
would see like Rishda, Rochelle, and you, and even some people,
I don't
like,
go.
they
No,
would
I
just,
I never came in the morning. I was just too lazy.
like,
It's
I
so far
saw them
away.
studying at 6:40 in the morning.
Some people who live really near, they come into school so early and they start studying, and I'm like, how do you do that? I only come like 5 minutes before the bell.
I know, but it's like, you know, it's 6:40 and you're wide awake, being isolated in this hole in school and studying so seriously, which obviously I can't do. So I have so much respect for people who do that.
It's just that I used to think that like studying was everything, so I felt sometimes when, like in the earlier year, I felt guilty for not coming into school in the morning or like to study, and like at lunch not to study. But then later I realized that like you if you want to have your fun in school, have it, and then you just study at home, or like you just have to find the balance. And honestly, like spending time with friends in school was the most important highlight for me rather than studying. Like, and you can even combine the both. You can study with your friends. I think like um even if the subject is boring, the teacher can kind of make it fun for you in the class. I mean, studying afterwards is kind of boring, but you it's just about the high school experience and like being with your teachers who are funny and supportive.
I agree with you that we also had supportive mentors and teachers. And so, Anushka, I want to ask you, like, would you recommend people to do the IB program? And if yes, why? No, why?
Okay, I would say yes and no for both reasons. I feel like if you really want to go to UK and you really want a structured approach and a clear approach to how to get into university, then yes, you do IB. If you want to challenge yourself and like if you don't know what you want to do in the future, I think IB is really good for giving you that like wide experience in terms of like having one social science, one arts, whatever you want to do. So as far as like my knowledge of AP, I would say do either IB or AP or both because they're all like college credit programs. And for US, I would say do AP or IB. Like if you know kind of what you want to do, for example, you want to do like computer science, then you already know like what AP subjects you need for that, like computer science and physics. But IB is for more people who don't really know like what you want to do. And obviously uh if you don't have a choice like we did, you just do IB and you get it over with.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't regret the experience. I mean, I would change, the things I would change, as I always tell you what I want to change. But I think if I were to have to choose, I don't know. I wouldn't know if I didn't do IB
um
what I'm gonna be
i
like today.
I think, yeah, I think I would choose like to be honest, very honest, I would choose a mixture of AP and IB. I feel like because it lessens the work as well because you don't have to do the TOK and the CAS part. But honestly, the CAS part was very eye-opening for me because I found out things that I had never done before, like crocheting. I'd never have like tried it, and as well as like helping people, which I really wanted to do in the future, like doing optimal health, which is helping people like the children learn about health education. So that part of IB was good, but if you know what you want to do, you can kind of tailor your experience just doing AP and IB together. But that's more for US because in UK they don't really regard the AP so high as IB.
Yeah, that's nice. I also learned a lot from Cass. Cass was a pretty interesting curriculum that's offered in IB. So,
Mhm.
Nush, just to kind of wrap up our conversation, I know we talked a lot about your experience in IB, and I actually really hope that a lot of people would listen to this and take the goods in it and the positive things in it and what you said. I want to ask you, during those hard times in IB when you feel like you were, going through a breakdown, what's one quote that you live by and you said, oh, like, I'm going to live by this quote and it's going to help me and I'm going to stay strong because, as we both know, it wasn't easy to kind of stay strong in IB. What's one quote that you live by that brought you till today?
Mm. I have two, I guess. Like in the times where it's like very stressful, it's like it's very cliche, but it's like this too shall pass, and you have to know that like this is just temporary. You're doing IB temporarily. You're up for more bigger things in life. And if you can do IB, I feel like a big weight had been lifted off my chest after doing IB. Like I can do IB, I can do the first term of university, like that. And also another thing was work hard, play hard. It's very cliche, but I felt like if I worked hard, I could motivate myself to play hard. Like I used to schedule my fun before the studying. So when I study, I'd be like, okay, let me just study for like 3 hours so I can go to the movies without like any worries in my head about work. So yeah, those are my two quotes.
It's a lovely quote. I think everybody should hear it, everybody should apply it. Thank you very much, Anushka, for being on my podcast. I really appreciate you
Mhm.
coming here. I know that speaking isn't really your thing, but again, I appreciate you for coming in here and talking to us and helping people who are going through the same thing. So, yeah, I'm going to talk to you later soon. And I hope that
Mhm.
everybody got something from it. I will link Anushka's Instagram below if you have any questions about Imperial College or just educational IB related stuff, or even like to be friends with her. She's fun. And yeah, I hope that you guys enjoy the podcast and let me know what you want to hear next.